وعليكم السلام. وعليكم السلام.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه وخاتم الأنبياء المرسلين سيد الأولين والآخرين سيد المرسلين رحمة للعالمين محمد.
اللهم صل على
القادمين المعصومين صلى الله تعالى في محكم الكتاب العزيز. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والأرض إن الإنسان لا يخلص إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. صلوات.
اللهم صل على
Alhamdulillah, it's a pleasure to stand in front of all the believers at this moment. Today I'm going to talk about establishing community, inshallah. And a lot of times when we think of a community, we think of something mass, where a whole bunch of people live together, with a whole bunch of buildings, houses, properties, playgrounds. Yeah, that's partly right, yes, for community. That is considered, yes, a community. But what kind of community are we talking about? Are we talking about this type of community or an Islamic community? One of the meanings that they have for community is just a body of persons or nations having a common history or common social, economic, and political interests. This is one of the Webster Dictionary meanings of community. And as we see as an Islamic community, we have all of these. It's a nation of Muslims that all together, right, from different nationalities, different countries, that come together that have the same political interests a lot of times we have, and also have a same common history, right, and a common social, economic, and so on and so forth. But one of the main things that we have in common is the Islam for all the Muslims, right? And with this Islam, this commonality, this should bring everybody together, because we have one direction to point to, and this is Allah Azza wa Jalla. And there's one thing in which Allah tells us throughout the whole Quran, which is definitely a formula to establishing a community. And Allah, He tells us to what? Establish the Salat. Right? He said, and establish the Salat, pay the Zakat, and bow down with those who bow. This is definitely a formula for establishing a community. Allah, He tells us over and over to establish the Salat. Right? Establish the Salat. Basic establish. By us establishing the Salat, this brings unity and camaraderie for each other. Just think. Are you praying by a brother, you want to get to know the brother. Or you praying by a sister, you want to get to know the sister, right? This brings brotherhood and sisterhood by establishing the Salat. This brings strength amongst the believers. When people see the people gathering together and praying together, what they see? Unity. This unity brings about a community of people with the same, as they said, common social, economic, and political interests of a body of persons or nations having common. And common is Allah Azza wa Jalla. And with this Salat that Allah plainly tells us over and over and over to establish, right? This way He's supposed to establish this Salat. This will bring a brotherhood, a sisterhood, strength among us. So when we look at the establishment of Salat, then we go into the brotherhood, the sisterhood. As we know in history, right, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we always have to refer back to the source and also the one who brought the source to us along, and we also have to refer back to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam what he has done. And we look when he had migrated from Mecca to Yathrib, Medina, what did he do? The first thing he did when he stepped around, he went to establish what? The brotherhood system among us. Right? The brotherhood system. How can I consider you my brother if I don't know you? How can I consider you my sister if I don't know you? But by praying and establishing this Salat, we get to know each other. We know we have something in common, and that is the worship in Allah Azza wa Jalla. This is what we have in common. Then once we have this main thing in common, and then this establishment happens, then, brother, please, come over to my house and eat with me. Sister, please, come over to my house and eat with me. This is the brotherhood, the sisterhood. This is the formula. And we see this when Rasulullah, he connected Muhajirin to the Ansar that he had made to his brother. It's simple formula. This is not rocket science. It's right there in front of us. We just have to utilize this. We have to utilize the tools in which was given to us. One, salat. Two, the brotherhood. I'm not going to take too much of people's time, but it's just so simple. And then, once you have all of this, the establishment of the salat, right? The establishment of the brotherhood, sisterhood. I can't forget the sisterhood, because I don't want to get in trouble, but alhamdulillah, you got to also remember the sisterhood. Why I say that? Because the sisters are also the background of the community, right? People forget about the sisters, right? Who are the ones that mold the youth? The sisters. Because a lot of times, we're out doing what we're doing. So we can't forget the sisters also in molding this community. No, we can't, not at all. They play a key part in the community. Key part. So once we establish the flag, we start the brotherhood, the sisterhood, and what we do now, we get somewhere down, a focal place, where we can have everything together. As you see the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did when he came after he did the brotherhood, he established the masjid. We have to establish a masjid. As long as we say alhamdulillah, good. But with a masjid, we have these rules for the masjid, right? We can't just sell the masjid, right? We can't just see something not just, and we can't just leave it there, right? And the masjid is for everybody, for all the believers. Now, as we see, once we establish this masjid, after we're doing all of this, just bring all the focus to the masjid. A lot of times you see in other communities, once the community starts, they build the focal place, the central place, and people start moving around the masjid. As you see what happened with our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they all moved around the masjid, right? So what this is considered as now, once everybody move around the Islamic center of the masjid, a community. This is a community with a focal place, with a focal ideology, with everything in common for everybody. But we have to notice, before we can do all of this, we first have to have the people. Right? You can't establish the salat, right? You can't have brotherhood, nor can you have the Islamic center or masjid if you don't have the people. Now how do we get these people? Of course we have to be on some PR type stuff as Muslims. Because unlike other beliefs or religions, everybody is $1 million tabligh machine, as you just said. Every Muslim in here is $1 million tabligh machine. We don't need to go out there and spend all types of money to get people, bring people into Islam. How we bring people into Islam? Through our character. So by our character, we bring the people in. Then we establish the salat. Then we start the brotherhood. Then we establish the community, the masjid, even though that might be the first thing to do. But if we don't have the people, we can't establish the salat. We can't have brotherhood, nor can we get the building to establish our community. I hope I'm not confusing everybody. Alhamdulillah, can I get a loud salawat, please? So this is our main focus, is to establish the community in which Allah tells us to establish. This is the community in which we have to put forth the effort to establish these things, like the salat, something as simple as that. Simple, right? That's your thing? Establishing the salat. 5 times salat, right? Just think if you knew it was a place where you could go every day to pray 5 times, you would definitely go for the barakat, which Allah gives you for the congregation of salat. Right? You go. Just think of when you go to the congregation of salat, you know you're going to see your brothers and which you're going to go eat with, your sisters and which you're going to go shopping with. You go. Right? Exactly so. And then, let's say after you go shopping and playing, whatever it is, you got a center or a focal place in which all of you are going to gather together. You definitely go. So these type of encouragements make a person come to the masjid. And once we inside this Islamic center masjid, what do? We have social events for everybody. For the children, for the older, for the middle, whatever it is, But you have to have social things for everybody. You can't just